Hi everyone, I'm Rosianna and I'm here to talk about my reaction to the last episode in this series of Doctor Who, The Big Bang. Needless to say that this TARDIS Tactical video will contain spoilers for the most recently aired in the UK episode of Doctor Who. If you haven't seen it, then don't watch this video. This episode was so much better than the one that preceded it. It was really well done, and I was very glad that the kind of cliffhanger ending of, you know, the Doctor stuck in the Pandora, how he wasn't going to get out, wasn't kind of solved by some big god from the machine. Well, it kind of was. Discuss. It wasn't solved by magic. It was like this complex time-jumping arrangement of things that was explained very well. And the way that they did it, as Stephen Moffat said in The Confidential, made it seem quite simple, so the audience could feel like, oh yeah, I get that, rather than being lost and confused and everything like that. I think it was done very well. Yeah, all in all, I'm so much happier at this episode. I think if you compare the two and view them as two separate parts, then the first one is really one of the weakest episodes in the series. If you see the second part on its own, it's one of the strongest, if not the strongest episode in the series. And if you see them together, then they're just like this colossal, amazing thing. So that's how I'm gonna view them. I loved, one of the things I absolutely loved is that the Daleks were not like the centrepiece of this episode. I like that the Daleks were part of it, but that they weren't the focus. I think that's very good. I feel like they're going to be the focus sometime soon. But it's nice to know that they're lurking in the background rather than kind of coming into every episode and dominating it, which is one thing that I have to admit that I didn't necessarily love about the Russell T Davies era, is that there were so many Daleks. It was like, whoa, overwhelmed. And that the same kind of goes for a lot of episodes in the old series as well. I feel like everyone annoyed me a lot less. River Song is a character that, as I'm sure a lot of you will know, I very strongly dislike. I think recently she's kind of come into her own a little bit more. I don't know, we'll wait and see. There's big mysteries about her to come in the next series. I've got a video that I've planned in which I'll talk about her a little bit more and how my feelings have changed and why that might be. Something deep like that, but that's going to come up in a little while. Some of these videos that I know I said I tried to get all the videos of the past episode that I missed up this week, but I have recorded them, but I haven't been able to edit them because I've had work and stuff. So once they come, they should be coming in swarms. Hopefully to coincide with any rewatching of the series that anyone does, but definitely to coincide with all the repeats that I'm sure will be happening from now until forever on BBC Three. Anyway, back to the episode. I love that we got to see Little Pond again. I love the girl who plays young Amelia Pond is just perfect. She's such a good actress. She's adorable and she's sassy and she's just great. I love her. I love the fez. I think it was just something ridiculous. I think it was really funny. I love the way that it was blown up. I think when the crack started to close and the Doctor revisiting all of his past memories, I think he did it really well. Matt Smith acted tremendously in those scenes. The bit which is my favourite bit from the Weeping Angels episodes is when the Doctor says, "You have to remember," and then it all kind of clicks into place that it wasn't the same Doctor who was doing it. It was a different Doctor. The idea that Amy could hear the Doctor and not see him explains why that all worked. I think that was all very well planned, and that kind of shows complexity of a lot of Stephen Moffat's writing, which I think is his strength, and a strength that I would argue hasn't been used enough. The Girl in the Fireplace, for example, is, I think, an episode full of that detail, full of that complexity. Not necessarily in the setting out of the script, but just as a concept, it's just brilliant. So I hope to see more of that side next season. I think part of the reason why I didn't enjoy last week's episode was, in fact, I didn't feel like there was a threat. I mean, I felt like Matt Smith is going to be the Doctor for quite a while longer. Amy Pond, as companion, you know, she might leave this season, she might leave next season. Typically, companions only last a couple of seasons or so. Maybe coming back for a little bit for visits and whatnot, spin-off shows. I feel like I almost cared more about Amy Pond at the very beginning of the series than by its end, which I think is a very weird thing to feel. But then, after this episode, then I cared about her again, so that was nice. But my favourite thing about the episode has to be that line. That old line that we've heard 10,000 times. Something old, something new, something borrowed, and something blue. Because that was so clever. I like the bit where Amy is doing her paintings and she draws stars, and how it's like, stars don't exist, you know? It's just a story. I think that's a really cool thing. And I was wondering the whole time, like, okay, then explain why are they alive? Why has the Earth not fallen out of the sky? Because there's nothing to hold it. And I was just thinking, hey, why? And it's at that point that you see the kind of strength of the story, because if I'd been in the mood that I was last week, where I wasn't a little bit grabbed in the slightest, then I would have started to think, oh, you know, it's probably the TARDIS, and kind of been ahead of it. and you have to be a little bit behind the story, even if you think you're in control of it, because that way you just enjoy it. I still wouldn't say that I was sucked in the same way that I was for like my favourite episodes, which include like the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which I just felt really grabbed me, and really like all the threats to everyone just felt really real. Really good episode, and just completely saved the one before it, which I absolutely hated. I don't know, what do you guys think? What was your favourite part, your least favourite part? What was the funniest bit? Whose acting has given the most impressive performance over the course of the series? Let me know in the comments. Allons-y, Alonso. See you at Christmas. Or when I actually get around to uploading those other videos.